All right, and good evening again. It is 8 o'clock. Thank you for joining me on WWL Plus. Just a radar update. What storms we did have ahead of the main complex that will cause the flooding concerns for us over the course of the next 12 plus hours is now kind of winding down. These storms really never posed much of a flooding threat. It had some possibility of severe weather continuing as it moved deeper across southeast Louisiana. These storms were severe as they moved toward Tangier Parish. Now just some heavy downpours, some lightning as well up toward the Bogalusa-Picayune area. The area, though, that we're watching closely is actually closing in now on Baton Rouge. Now, as these continue to spread our way, we will see kind of these continuing through the overnight and into early tomorrow morning, and that's where we get the flooding threat. Thunderstorms are pushing out deeper into Pearl River and Hancock County, and then those showers are starting to approach now the Kentwood area. More light, maybe some isolated pockets of moderate rain in St. Helena Parish, but as far as flooding rain goes, we're still, at least at the moment, quiet. Around the metro area, dry as those storms had since earlier moved away. Now notice our model right now, not perfect with regards to where the storms are. As I was just showing you, they're approaching the Baton Rouge area now, and this model is probably another hour and a half, 2 hours behind. So keeping that in mind, I think we'll start to get into some of that heavier rainfall on the North Shore, probably within the hour or so. That will continue overnight and going past midnight. Heavy rounds of rainfall, we'll get some breaks here and there, but then we start to watch for the possibility of kind of a line, a boundary of storms setting up. Wherever this boundary sets up, we could see some significant rainfall totals. Now, will it set up? We don't know exactly where. If it does set up, still somewhat of an uncertainty. If it's in this vicinity, Lafayette to around Baton Rouge and maybe even the river parishes could see significant totals. If it's a little bit farther north, maybe it's the North Shore. A little bit more east and it's the metro area. A little bit more south and it's our bayou parishes. Now, this model though does bring kind of a complex of storms through during the mid-morning and wrapping up early afternoon. That right there, that round of rain, or a couple of rounds of rain I should say, would be the greatest threat for flooding. As we go through the rest of the day Wednesday, scattered showers, some thunderstorms, and a few isolated downpours that could add to those totals, but not as much of a flooding threat. Then as we go into our Thursday, models have actually been a bit on the drier side with some spotty showers. Same thing for Friday. Now the Friday longer range models, this model actually ends at 1 p.m. on Friday. Notice how there's quite a bit of rain offshore, kind of south of, well south of the coast and just out of our vantage point here. If that were to be more inland, obviously we could add even additional totals to the already significant amounts that we could see. What has been interesting though is that some of our high resolution models, even going back to yesterday and this morning, have been downplaying the rainfall widespread totals of what we could potentially see. Obviously, some of the higher totals that we have been going with of the 4 to 6 and localized 8+ inches of rain are on the more extreme end of what we could see. Certainly not a guarantee, but something that is definitely a potential. So better to err on the side of caution. And what that means is maybe moving those cars tonight before you go to bed to higher ground, because we are anticipating that heavier rain overnight, and certainly before a lot of folks wake up tomorrow. So when? Tonight through Thursday, although Thursday not looking to be quite as wet with several rounds of rainfall. Watch for that flooding. Again, standing water on roads, do not cross it, just turn around. No need to try and go through any kind of flooded roadways. Sometimes you just don't know how deep it is. The WWL app will notify you of any warnings or alerts, as well as on WWL Plus right here streaming. We will keep up a live radar throughout the rest of the week. For all of us, we're going to remain under a flood watch through Thursday evening. Again, the high end numbers have been running 4 to 6 inches. Some localized amounts of 8+ are possible, but that would be the extreme high end, and that possibility is only at around 10%. So probably won't see it, but that is a worst case scenario. As far as the flooding rain goes, that threat is greatest through the overnight and into the first part of the day tomorrow. That's going to be when we see the bulk of those rainfall totals. We'll see exactly where they set up. Now, we still have the potential for some flooding Thursday, and that though is a lower threat at a slight level 2 out of 4, and that would mean more scattered areas of street flooding, not a widespread concern. When you see that red, that's more of a widespread concern for flooding. As far as the totals go, as I said, manageable 3 to 4 or 4 to 6 inches over the course of several days. If we get all of that within the next say 16 to 18 hours or so, that would be more of an issue. And that is what's a potential in a more widespread area. Here are some of our high resolution models that go for actually specific numbers. Now, these numbers have not been nearly as high as what the models were indicating as of yesterday and even earlier this morning. Notice it goes from 1.5 inches to around 4 inches of rainfall, and obviously 4 inches is nothing to sneeze at, but if it's over the course of a couple of days, okay. If it's 4 inches of rainfall within the overnight and early part of the day tomorrow, that is going to lead to some flooding. Same thing with the HER model, another one of our high resolution models. Again, the totals just are not showing up to be quite as high as at once they were thinking. I do kind of break down all of the forecast thinking in my 7 o'clock update, which you'll be able to see right here on WWL+. We are going to continue updating you every half hour here on streaming, just to kind of bring you up to date as those storms get a little bit closer, as well as I'll kind of update some of our models to try and get a better idea of the timing, as it does look like some of this rainfall may be speeding up a bit. So we'll catch you back here at 8:30. For now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chris Franklin.